Last session we discussed the moment of inertia of different bodies, like moment of inertia of a rod, moment of inertia of a ring, moment of inertia of a disc, moment of inertia of a solid sphere, moment of inertia of a hollow sphere. And the last point which we discussed in the last session is the moment of inertia of a solid cylinder. So moment of inertia of a solid cylinder about its own axis, or that own axis is also known as the geometric axis. So moment of inertia of the cylinder about its own means geometric axis is what? So this moment of inertia is mr square by 2. So this is the moment of inertia I own. It is mr square by 2, m for mass, r for radius of the cylinder. Second case is about an axis coincide with its surface means this axis is parallel to the own axis, means this one axis coincide with the surface of the cylinder. So here we apply the parallel axis theorem to find I own. R is the distance, capital R, that is the radius of the cylinder, is the distance between the geometric axis and axis coincide with them. So by parallel axis theorem we get here I surface is equal to I own plus mr square. We apply parallel axis theorem. So what is I own? The I own is mr square by 2. And what is the value of small r? The small r is capital R. So it is mr square. So finally 1 mr square plus 2 mr square means it is 3 by 2 mr square. So this is the value of moment of inertia about an axis coincide with its surface. Case number 2. Case number 3 is moment of inertia about an axis passing through center of mass. Moment of inertia about an axis passing through center of mass and perpendicular to its length. Which axis? The axis is this one, which passes through the center of mass and perpendicular to its length. So this moment of inertia is denoted by IC. So this moment of inertia IC is m into bracket L square by 12 plus R square by 4. So how to remember this formula? So we consider this cylinder as a rod. For the rod, moment of inertia about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to its length is ml square by 12. And imagine one disc here. So this axis is the axis along the diameter of the disc. So moment of inertia of the disc about any diameter is mr square by 4. So finally we get m L square by 12 plus mr square by 4. Take m common. So we get IC is m into bracket L square by 12 plus R square by 4. And the last case is moment of inertia of the cylinder about the diameter of any face. Here we say that it is the moment of inertia about an axis passing through one end of the cylinder and perpendicular to its length. So for that, distance between the two parallel axes is L by 2. So apply the parallel axis theorem. So here axis is what? About, and an axis passing through one end and perpendicular to its length. So if we apply the parallel axis theorem, then this end is what? It is IC plus MR square. So IC is ML square by 12 plus MR square by 4, and here small r is L by 2. So therefore its square is L square by 4. Your final addition is M into bracket L square by 3 plus R square by 4. So these are the 4 cases of the moment of inertia of a solid cylinder. Now we consider the moment of inertia of a hollow cylinder. So instead of solid, if we consider the hollow cylinder, then what is the difference between the moment of inertia of a solid cylinder and hollow cylinder? So changes are very simple. Moment of inertia of this hollow cylinder about an axis passing through, coincide with axis is only mr square by 2, means I own for solid cylinder is only mr square. So by parallel axis theorem, we get the moment of inertia about axis coincide is what? It is only mr square plus mr square, means it is 2mr square. Third formula for the moment of inertia of the solid hollow cylinder is what? The axis passing through the center of mass and perpendicular to its plane. So it is ml square by 12 plus r square by 2. M into bracket L square by 12 plus r square by 2. And the last one is, here it is ml square by 12 plus mr square by 2 and plus ml square by 4, because the distance between the two parallel axes is L by 2. So finally we get here ml square by 3 plus ml square by 2. So means I end is m into bracket L square by 12 plus r square by m into bracket, here addition is ml square by 12 plus mr square by 2 plus here mr square by 4. So what is the resultant of these two? So it is LCM is 4a, 3 ml square by 2. So it is 3 r square by 4. So these are the values of the moment of inertia of the hollow cylinder. So thus we finish the moment of inertia of the solid cylinder and hollow cylinder. Now we consider the last point, moment of inertia of a solid right circular cone. Moment of inertia of a solid cone. So it may be also known as a solid right circular cone. So its moment of inertia about the central axis. And this is the cone, and we consider the moment of inertia about this axis. So here r is the base radius of that cone. So its moment of inertia is I central, it is 3 by 10 mr square. Moment of inertia of the solid cone about the central axis is 3 by 10 mr square. So this is the value of moment of inertia of a solid cone. So now the last point related to our chapter is the rolling bodies, study of the rolling bodies. So body rolls down over the inclined surface. Then question is, with what velocity it reaches to the ground? What is the kinetic energy? That is the rotational kinetic energy is what? Translational kinetic energy is what? And total energy is what? So we consider the inclined surface here. So our title of the topic is the rolling bodies. Body rolls over the inclined surface. So initially here we consider the inclined surface of inclination theta. Means this is the angle of inclination theta. Initially body is at rest. We are not familiar with the body, whether it is a ring, whether it is a disc, whether it is a cylinder and so on. H is the height of that body from the ground. Now we release the body, then body simultaneously possesses the two types of the motion. Translational motion as well as the rotational motion. So it is clear that body possesses translational kinetic energy as well as rotational kinetic energy. So here we consider m is the mass of the body. For our convenience, suppose we assume that it is a solid sphere. So m is the mass, r is the radius, K for radius of gyration. So question number 1 is, what is its translational kinetic energy? So when you release the body from the top surface, body rolls down over that surface. So its motion is the combination of translational motion and rotational motion. So translational kinetic energy is 1 upon 2 mv square, and rotational kinetic energy is 1 upon 2 I omega square. I for moment of inertia, omega for angular velocity, and therefore the total kinetic energy is the addition of translational kinetic energy and rotational kinetic energy. Substitute the values of translation and rotational kinetic energies here. So it is 1 upon 2 mv square plus 1 upon 2I omega square. Now we use here two relations. First relation is the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity, and second one is moment of inertia in case of a radius of gyration. So it is 1 upon 2 mv square, 1 upon 2 I is what? It is mk square, and omega square is what? It is v square by r square. So why? So we are familiar with this. I is mk square and v is equal to r into omega. So these are the two basic formulae we used here. We put I is equal to mk square and replace omega by v by r. And which factor is common here? The total kinetic energy is, take half mv square as a common factor. it is 1 plus k square by, this is the formula for total kinetic energy of the rolling body. Now we apply the law of conservation of energy here. When body is at rest at height h above the surface, body possesses the potential energy, and when we release the body, that potential energy is converted into rotational kinetic energy and translational kinetic energy. Means indirectly we say that total kinetic energy is equivalent with the potential energy at the height h. So by law of conservation of energy, total kinetic energy of the rolling body is the potential energy at height h. Substitute the value of total kinetic energy. It is 1 by 2 mv square into bracket 1 plus k square by r square. And what is the potential energy at the height h? It is mgh. So here m cancel. Take all the values except v square to the RHS. We get v square is equal to 2gh upon 1 plus k square by r square, and square root of both sides gives us v is equal to under root 2gh upon 1 plus k square by r square. So what is this? It is the velocity with which body reaches at the bottom of that inclined surface. Means when this body reaches at the ground, its velocity is v is equal to under root 2gh upon 1 plus k square by r square. So if we consider here it is a ring, then put the value of k as a r, because we know that the radius of gyration of a ring about its axis passing through the center and perpendicular to its plane is k mr square. So k is r. So we get v is equal to under root 2z. By using this formula, we calculate the velocity of any body. Either we use the formula for ring, disc, sphere and so on. So thus we get velocity with which body reaches at the ground over the inclined surface, v is equal to under root 2gh upon 1 plus k square by r square. Now we consider the last topic. Suppose we assume that the length of this inclined surface is s. Length of the inclined surface is s. Initially, body is at height h and we release it. So we applied here kinematical equation. So we apply the third kinematical equation, v square is equal to u square plus 2as. So by kinematical equation we have v square is equal to u square plus 2as. We require the value of acceleration with which body reaches at the ground. So at any stage body is here. Acceleration due to gravity is toward the ground, means it is g. Which acceleration possesses by the body? So it is acceleration A as well as the component of acceleration due to gravity. So by geometry, this angle is theta, this angle is 90 degree, therefore this angle is 90 minus theta. Similarly, this angle is 90 minus theta. So if you resolve the g into its two components, we get here the component g cos 90 minus theta. Cos 90 minus theta is nothing but sin theta. So this is the acceleration g sin theta along the surface. So how will you calculate the value of acceleration A? So what is the relation between h and s? That is also very simple. Apply the definition of sin theta. So we get sin theta is equal to h upon s, and therefore s is equal to h upon sin theta. So put this value here. We get v square is what? The v square is 2gh upon 1 plus k square by r square. U is 0 because initially the body is at rest. So U is 0 plus 2a. And what is s? It is h upon sin theta. So here h cancel. And finally we get 2 also cancel. And we get acceleration A is equal to, take here sin theta to LHS. So it is g sin theta upon 1 plus k square by, so this is the expression for acceleration. रोलिंग बॉडीज मध्ये वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारच्या बॉडीज साठी हे जनरल फॉर्म्युले आपल्याला मिळाले. इक्वेशन नंबर 1, इक्वेशन नंबर 2 आणि इक्वेशन नंबर 3. इक्वेशन 1 चा वापर करून तुम्ही बॉडीची टोटल कायनेटिक एनर्जी काढू शकाल फक्त रेडियस ऑफ गायरेशन के ची व्हॅल्यू टाकून. इक्वेशन 2 वरनं व्हेलॉसिटी विथ विच द बॉडी रिचेस ॲट द ग्राउंड काढू शकाल आणि इक्वेशन नंबर 3 वरनं रेडियस ऑफ गायरेशन के ची व्हॅल्यू काढून ऍक्सिलरेशन ची व्हॅल्यू तुम्ही त्या ठिकाणी कॅल्क्युलेट करू शकाल. सो दिस इज द कन्सेप्ट ऑफ द रोलिंग बॉडी. एंट्रन्सच्या विषयाच्यावरती आपल्याला खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणामध्ये मल्टिपल चॉईस क्वेश्चन्स तयार करता येतात. बोर्ड पॅटर्नला आपल्याला रोलिंग बॉडीच्या टोटल कायनेटिक एनर्जीचे एक्सप्रेशन काढता येतं, लिनियर व्हेलॉसिटी आणि ऍक्सिलरेशन. सो दॅट्स वी फिनिश द टॉपिक rolling body over the inclined surface. And the last point of the chapter is the law of conservation of angular momentum. So what is the angular momentum? We already discussed this topic. The angular momentum in terms of moment of inertia. What is angular momentum? Moment of linear momentum is called as the angular momentum, and that is why the formula for angular momentum is here is equal to r into p. So last point to be discussed is law of conservation of angular momentum. So again we revise this topic. What is the angular momentum? Moment of linear momentum is called as the angular momentum. And using this we get L is equal to R into P. R for moment arm, P for linear momentum. Then L is equal to R into P is what? Product of the mass and velocity. These are the formulae of the angular momentum by definition. And by analogy, what is the formula for the angular momentum? L is equal to I omega. By which analogy? Linear momentum, P is the product of mass and velocity. Quantity analogous to mass is the moment of inertia, and the physical quantity analogous to linear velocity is the angular momentum. So we already studied this topic. Now we consider the law of conservation of angular momentum. So we consider this last formula, L is equal to I omega. Now we consider the relation between the torque and the moment of inertia. So we know that what is the torque? 2 is equal to I alpha. just like F is equal to ma. The analogy is what? 2 is equal to I alpha. What is the alpha? The alpha is the rate of change of angular velocity. Means what? It is d omega by dt. Now we are familiar with this concept about a given axis of rotation. About a given axis of rotation, moment of inertia is a constant quantity. Is for the same body about the same axis of rotation, moment of inertia is constant, and so therefore we get here tau is equal to d by dt of I omega. Hence we take moment of inertia inside the derivative, since moment of inertia about the given axis of rotation is constant. Now what is I omega? It is L. So finally we get tau is equal to L dl by dt. Tau is what? dl by dt. We also express the same formula as tau is equal to L2 minus L1 upon T. Tau is equal to dl by dt is also expressed in another form. Tau is equal to L2 minus L1 upon T for time. Now, if no external torque acts on a body, no external torque acts on the body, then what happens? No external torque acts on the body means what? Tau is equal to 0. So if we put here tau is 0, then what is dl by dt? The dl by dt is also equal to 0. By the concept of derivative, derivative of the constant quantity is equal to 0. So dl by dt equal to 0 implies that L is constant. So see the conclusion. If no external torque acts on the body, then L is constant. So how to read it? If no external torque acts on the body, then the angular momentum of the body above the given axis of rotation remains constant. This statement is called as the law of conservation of angular momentum. So L is constant means what? I omega is equal to constant. I omega equal to constant means what? It is I1 omega 1 is equal to I2 omega 2. Convert this formula in terms of frequency. How? So we know that omega 1 is 2 pi n1 and omega 2 is 2 pi n2. 2 pi cancel and we get here I1 n1 is equal to I2 n2. This implies that In is also constant. So either say L is constant means angular omega is constant, angular momentum is constant, product of I and omega is constant, or product of moment of inertia and frequency remains constant. So this is the law of conservation of angular momentum. This formula indicates that there is a inverse proportion between the moment of inertia and the angular velocity. Similarly, moment of inertia and frequency also inversely proportional to each other. So we consider the simple example. How law of conservation of angular momentum works. Suppose we consider one example: ballet dancer spin on rotating table. This one is the rotating table and that person rotates about its own axis, that is a geometric axis on the table. Initially, that person spread his hands like this. He kept some weights in his hand and he rotates on the rotating table. Now, during that case, suppose he fold his hand. Means what? As soon as he fold his hands, mass distribution becomes compact to the axis of rotation. As mass distribution is now compact, what happens here? So mass distribution is compact means moment of inertia decreases. And as the moment of inertia decreases, by this concept, angular velocity increases, means the speed of the rotation increases. एक्झाम्पल अतिशय सोपं सांगितलंय की एक रोटेटिंग टेबल आहे. रोटेटिंग टेबल वरती उभी असलेली जी व्यक्ती आहे तर ती स्वतः भोवती फिरते. सुरुवातीला त्या व्यक्तीच्या हातामध्ये हेवी मास आहे आणि हात स्प्रेड केलेले आहेत आणि फिरता फिरता त्या व्यक्तीने आपले हात जे आहे ते बॉडीला क्लोज अशा प्रकारची आणली आहे. म्हणजे मी एरोने दाखवण्याचा प्रयत्न केला. असं केल्यानंतर काय झालं की मास जे स्प्रेड होतं ते आता ऍक्सिसला क्लोज आलंय. मास ऍक्सिसला क्लोज आलं की मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया कमी होणार आणि मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया कमी झाला की अँग्युलर वेलॉसिटी वाढते, म्हणजे रोटेशनचा स्पीड वाढतो. So this example shows that if no external torque acts on the body, angular momentum of the body remains constant. This is the law of conservation of angular momentum. So we finish the chapter here. Just we summarize the chapter within a few seconds. काय काय स्टडी केलंय आपण ह्या चॅप्टर मध्ये त्याचा एक आपण फक्त रिव्ह्यू घेऊ. चॅप्टर या ठिकाणी संपलेला आहे. या चॅप्टर मध्ये सुरुवातीला आपण सर्क्युलर मोशनच्या रिलेटेड कन्सेप्ट पाहिली. ट्रान्सलेशनल मोशन आणि सर्क्युलर मोशनच्या रिलेटेड एनालॉजी आपण पाहिली. वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारची कन्सेप्ट सर्क्युलर मोशन मधली आपण पाहिली. अँग्युलर डिस्प्लेसमेंट, अँग्युलर वेलॉसिटी, अँग्युलर ऍक्सिलरेशन, त्यानंतर युनिफॉर्म सर्क्युलर मोशन आणि नॉन युनिफॉर्म सर्क्युलर मोशन. युनिफॉर्म सर्क्युलर मोशन मधलं आपण ऍक्सिलरेशनचं एक्सप्रेशन पाहिलं, ज्याला आपण सेंट्रिपिटल ऍक्सिलरेशन किंवा रॅडियल ऍक्सिलरेशन म्हटलं होतं. त्यानंतर आपण प्लेन रोडवरचा, कर्व रोडवरचा मॅक्झिमम वेलॉसिटीचा फॉर्म्युला त्या ठिकाणी पाहिला की विथ व्हॉट वेलॉसिटी अ व्हेकल ड्रिव्हन सेफली ऑन अ हॉरिझॉन्टल कर्व रोड. त्यानंतर आपण त्याच्या ड्रॉबॅक्स पाहिलेत आणि ते ड्रॉबॅक्स ओव्हरकम करण्यासाठी आपण कन्सेप्ट पाहिला बँकिंग ऑफ रोडचा. बँकिंग ऑफ रोडच्या मध्ये आपण अँगल ऑफ बँकिंग आणि मॅक्झिमम वेलॉसिटी विथ विच वी ड्राईव्ह द व्हेकल ऑन द बँक रोड ह्याचं एक्सप्रेशन पण पाहिलं. आणि त्यानंतर आपण एक शेवटचा सर्क्युलर मोशन मधला पॉइंट डिस्कस केला होता, कोनिकल पेंड्युलम. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण कोनिकल पेंड्युलमच्या पिरियॉडिक टाइमचं एक्सप्रेशन डिराइव्ह केलं. त्या सेक्शनच्या नंतर आपण रोटेशनल मोशन हा प्रकार पाहिलाय की रिजिड बॉडीसाठी पर्टिक्युलरली आपण रोटेशनल मोशनचा स्टडी केलाय. त्यामध्ये मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया हा कन्सेप्ट आपण एक पाहिला. रेडियस ऑफ गायरेशन हा एक कन्सेप्ट पाहिला. मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया कोणत्या फॅक्टरवरती डिपेंड करते, कशा प्रकाराने डिपेंड करते ह्याचं आपण डिस्कशन केलं. त्यानंतर अतिशय महत्वाचे आपण 3 एक्सप्रेशन डिराइव्ह केले. रोटेशनल कायनेटिक एनर्जीचं एक्सप्रेशन आपण पाहिलं, के रोटेशनल इज 1/2 ओमेगा स्क्वेअर. त्यानंतर आपण टो इज इक्वल टू आय अल्फा जे आपण आताच्या लास्ट टॉपिक मध्ये यूज केलं ते एक्सप्रेशन पाहिलं. एल इज इक्वल टू आय ओमेगा हे एक्सप्रेशन आपण त्या ठिकाणी डिराइव्ह करून पाहिलं. आणि त्यानंतर 2 थिअरम आपण डिस्कस केले, पॅरलल ऍक्सेस थिअरम आणि परपेंडिक्युलर ऍक्सेस थिअरम. त्यांच्या प्रूफ सहित आपण या ठिकाणी डिस्कशन मध्ये केलेला आहे. त्याच्यानंतरचा टॉपिक आपण पाहिला मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया ऑफ द डिफरंट बॉडीज. यासाठी आपण त्या पॅरलल ऍक्सेस थिअरम आणि परपेंडिक्युलर ऍक्सेस थिअरमचा उपयोग केलेला आहे. मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया कोणकोणत्या बॉडीचे पाहिले आपण? तर रिंगचा मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया पाहिला, रॉडचा मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया पाहिला, डिस्क पाहिलाय, सॉलिड सिलेंडर होलो सिलेंडर पाहिलाय, सॉलिड स्पियर होलो स्पियर पाहिलंय आणि एक राईट सर्क्युलर कोन पण आपण पाहिलाय. म्हणजे अशा रीतीने आपण वेगवेगळ्या बॉडीच्या वेगवेगळ्या केसेस त्या ठिकाणी डिस्कस केल्या मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शियाच्या. त्यानंतर आपण एक टॉपिक पाहिला रोलिंग बॉडीचा, बॉडी रोल्स ओव्हर द इन्क्लाइंड सरफेस. त्या इन्क्लाइंड सरफेसच्या रोलिंग मध्ये बॉडीची टोटल कायनेटिक एनर्जीचं एक्सप्रेशन पाहिलं, विथ व्हॉट व्हेलॉसिटी बॉडी रिचेस टू द ग्राउंड पाहिलं आणि ऍक्सिलरेशन ऑफ द रोलिंग बॉडी पण पाहिलं. त्यानंतर शेवटचा टॉपिक आपण डिस्कस केला होता लॉ ऑफ कन्झर्वेशन ऑफ अँग्युलर मोमेंटम. तर अशा प्रकारानं एक चॅप्टर थोडासा लेंदी आहे, याच्यामध्ये सर्क्युलर मोशन पण आलं, याच्यामध्ये रोटेशनल मोशन पण आलं. अशा 2 प्रकारच्या मोशनचा स्टडी जो आहे तो आपण या चॅप्टर मध्ये डिस्कस केला आहे. टोटल 7 सेशन मध्ये आपण हा चॅप्टर डिस्कस केला. त्यामुळं ह्या चॅप्टरच्या रिलेटेड बोर्ड पॅटर्नचा स्टडी हा आपला या ठिकाणी संपलेला आहे. ओके, थँक्यू.